from Cambodia to America. With more occasions to visit Cambodia, Loung Ung is now trying to build a bridge between these two families. She sincerely hopes that the videos she brings to show the status of both families will help to reunite them. The middle brother Khoi serves a population of 4,000 in Bat Dang village as their police chief. He has 6 children, and his monthly salary amounts to $20. The money Meng sends from America largely supports his family. I really wanted to go to America, but I couldn't leave my baby sister to live here alone. As I wanted to go so badly, I often dreamed that I was going to America. Khoi, left behind in Cambodia, now hopes to someday visit his family in America. Loung Ung and her big sister Zhu used to spend every minute together, from when they got up in the morning till just before going to bed at night. Whenever Zhu was teased by others, it was Loung Ung who stood up for her. After Loung Ung left Cambodia, Zhu, at the age of 18, married a village man. Now she is the mother of 5 children and spends her whole life in the village, rarely leaving it. Loung Ung had been feeling sorry, comparing her life with her sisters in Cambodia, but she found out that that was the wrong way to look at it.
And it took coming back to Cambodia and seeing her as a Cambodian woman. She's not a Cambodian American woman. She is who she is. She's a mother of 5. She's a very strong mother of 5. She's a great mother. She's very happy where she is. She loves her kids. She loves her husband. And she's got a strength that I'll never understand. I didn't understand it as a child, and I understand it a little bit more now, but still not very much. She's got a very quiet inner strength. And it's the strength of survival.
Loung Ung says she always finds something new whenever she visits Cambodia.
I felt a lot of guilt. Not only that I didn't come back earlier, but that Cambodia was out of my consciousness. Not only the bad part of Cambodia, but also good memories. In trying to completely erase my mind of Pol Pot and my death of my parents, I also erased it from my father walking down with me on the streets and taking me to noodle shops. And I also erased it with my mother going shopping.
There are some places in Phnom Penh where the sadness that had shattered Loung Ung's mind is awakened. One of these places is the Tuol Sleng Genocide Museum. This facility, formerly a public high school, was converted into the S-21 Interrogation Center, where the Khmer Rouge's opponents and anti-communists were routinely brought in, tortured, and killed. Loung Ung still feels her entire body become tense every time she visits here. Loung Ung can't help remembering her father whenever she visits here.
It's hard for me to be here because I don't really know where my father was killed. There's some, in the dark recess of my mind, I sometimes think, well, maybe he was here. Maybe one of the pictures will be of him. but I don't let myself think about that very long. It comes and then I chase it away. It's all different size, age, race. No one was safe.
For 4 years, starting from 1975, approximately 18,000 people were captured and brought to this facility. Among them, only 8 survived.
You can't select what memories you can remember and what you can't. Any memories of Cambodia used to and still does to a certain extent make me very sad. The happy memories makes my heart break because we don't have it anymore, because we're not together anymore. And then the sad memories makes my heart break because I'm so mad. I'm so mad at what happened. And now you just sort of accept it and let it be. You know, you can only run away for so long. Sooner or later, you just have to face it. So I think I'm just so sick of running away. I'm so sick of trying to be someone else that I've come to a place where I can't accept it. Good or bad, Cambodia will always be my heart.
Of the Ung family's 5 brothers and sisters who survived Pol Pot's terror, the oldest son, Meng, and Loung now live in America. The middle son, Khoi, and Zhu, the second daughter, have stayed in Cambodia. But Kim, the youngest son, lives in a different country, apart from his brothers and sisters. He didn't get approval to come to America 13 years ago, and was sent instead to France. He is now married a Cambodian woman and has 2 children. The oldest son, Meng, has been hoping to bring Kim, the family member forced to live apart, closer to his own home in America. He's been waiting and hoping that Kim's immigration application, originally rejected, will finally be approved. This time, Kim will not be filing for a refugee visa, but for a visa that will allow him to immigrate as a member of Meng's family. But 13 years have already passed since the application was filed.
And I'm the eldest. I just like the parents of my brothers and sisters. So that's my responsibility, to help them and to try to find them a better place to live.
After overcoming a number of painful experiences, Loung decided to write her autobiography. It took her 3 years to complete it. Loung found time to write between her busy schedule of work and lecture appearances. Looking back at such painful memories as the death of family members, starvation, and rape, she would sometimes vomit from the bitterness. But she was firmly determined that others should know what she had experienced, and that these tragedies should never happen again. And through sheer will, she summoned the concentration that was needed to finish her story. Meng watched with gentle understanding as Loung tried to achieve her goal. But he is determined never to tell anyone about his tragic past and what he himself experienced when he was a sensitive youth.
I can share my feeling, and also it's hard to make other people to understand how I gone through.
People wouldn't have any idea what you have.
People would not have any idea, and also I do not. Sometimes I just want to keep everything inside myself instead of try to telling other people and let other people worry and feel sorry. And
When Loung Ung started writing her autobiography, she asked her brothers and sisters to tell her what they remembered of that time. But nobody replied. Finally, her brother Khoi, who had stayed in Cambodia, sent her 2 notebooks.
These are the 2 notebooks that my brother Khoi gave to me.
The notebooks, containing 100 pages of Khoi's Khmer memories, gave Loung Ung information about her father's story that she had never known, as well as details of Khoi's own experiences under Pol Pot. April 17, 1975. The route taken by the Ung family at the time of their enforced evacuation from Phnom Penh. The terror Khoi experienced on the 3rd day at a temple that had taken the family in, where he witnessed several executions. Loung Ung found, in Khoi's notebooks, facts that she had had no knowledge of, having been only 5 years old at the time they occurred.
But my memories of leaving and walking doesn't have time or date. It just is continuous, and it felt like forever. But it also felt like it all happened in one day. Khoi was able to break it down and give me a day-by-day recount. And he wrote in Khmer on 1 page, and I couldn't read it. So that was a difficulty. And so I had to convince Ming to translate it for me. And he did.
It took Khoi 3 months to write down all his memories in these notebooks. I cried as I finished writing in those notebooks. I hadn't thought it would take such a long time to finish, but each time I wrote, the memories came flooding back to me. Since these memories were so painful, I sometimes couldn't write a word. I'd have to take a day off so I could feel better. Then I'd start writing again. What's written in those notebooks comes from the bottom of my heart and from deep sorrow. However, as we go through these notebooks, we find that, increasingly, there are pages that haven't been translated. Loung Ung still doesn't know what is written here. These are the pages that Meng refused to translate.
I think it's just too difficult for him. I think, the parts he didn't translate maybe has to do with him and Khoi and where they were. And I think, I asked Khoi to do it, and Khoi agreed to do it. I asked Ming to do it, and he's agreed to do a lot of it. So, what he won't translate, it's his prerogative. If he wants to keep it private, then, I let it be private. And I actually don't want you to ask him about it. Because if he wanted to show me, he would have showed me in due time.
You will not try to translate?
No. I won't do it, and I won't let anybody else do it. I'll burn it first. I'm very protective of him.
Since publishing her autobiography, Loung Ung has never asked Meng what is written in those pages. Loung Ung knows that the wounds Meng suffered in Cambodia are still there in his mind and haven't healed. Who is to blame for all the painful sadness suffered during Pol Pot's reign? Loung Ung and many other Cambodians feel that their wounds can never be completely healed until this question is answered. One way for them to get the answer is to open an international trial. At a Senate meeting promoting the trial, Global Policy Toward War Criminals, Loung was invited to speak as one of the surviving witnesses.
Loung Ung, what is your own judgment?
I myself, if there ever will be an international tribunal for Cambodia, would love to testify to the deaths of both my parents and 2 sisters and 20 or so other relatives. But I will not feel safe to testify and do so in Cambodia because I still have a brother and a sister in Cambodia. And for the rest of the world, it's about an issue that's 20 years old. For me, it's still a daily issue. It's still an everyday issue. For the people who went through it, 20 years, 2 years, 5 years, we need to have it. It is justice before.
Thank you very much.
So many were killed during Pol Pot's time, and even the survivors still keep the painful memories deep inside their minds. Loung Ung is determined to continue speaking about her experiences for all those people. The day that Meng has longed for so many years has finally arrived. His brother Kim's and his family's immigration application has finally been approved, and they are supposed to arrive in America from France today.
I have been waiting for my brothers to come here to live with us for over 10 years. And it's very important to us to have all the relatives live close together. And it's a very important day today to wait for them to come.
Meng's brother Kim, his wife Yang, and their 4 children arrived safely from France to live in the United States. Kim had established a stable life in France, working in a bakery, but he gave it all up to come live with his brother in America. Meng prepared one of the rooms on the 2nd floor and bought furniture for his brother and his family. I am very grateful to my brother. He did all the work for the immigration procedures, and he called us to live here. In France, I was always lonely, but from now on, I can live close to my brother Meng and my sister Loung. Since Loung often visits Cambodia, I am looking forward to finding out about other families there. Meng felt that today he had accomplished one of his missions. And now Meng dreams of the day when he will be able to have his brother and sister still in Cambodia, living together with them too. The final scene of Loung's 230-page long autobiography takes place when the surviving family members are once again dispersed. Holding the hands of her sobbing sister Zhu, Loung left Cambodia, believing Meng's words that everyone would be able to reunite within 5 years. And on that last night before Loung and her brother left the camp for America, her father appeared to her in a dream Pa, I'm leaving for America tomorrow. Eldest brother says that America is very far from Cambodia, very far from you. The words linger in the air. So afraid of what his answer may be, even in a dream, I cannot tell Pa my fear. Don't worry. Wherever you go, I will find you, he tells me, as his fingers gently brush strands of hair from my face. Loung Ung, at that time, was 10 years old. On the day following the American publication of Loung Ung's autobiography, her story was covered on the front page of USA Today. The paper acknowledged that it was of major significance that the tragic story of Cambodia, of which the American people had been mostly ignorant, had now become clear through Loung Ung's reminiscence.
This story is a Cambodian story. This book is about me, but it's not only about me. This is about many Cambodians, and we have all similar stories. And it's about an ordinary family living in a time of great tragedies. And if you had been in Cambodia, if you had been born in Cambodia or had the misfortune of living in Cambodia at that time, it would have been your story too. My father would have been very proud of this work for the stories that it represents, for the truth that it represents. This book allows him to have justice in a way that he always believed in justice. This book tells the true testimonies and stories of what happened to the people, and I think he would have been very proud of that.
By completing her autobiography, Loung Ung now opened a page in her mind that had been heavily closed. However, her fight against the sad past of 5 brothers and sisters is still being waged inside her. There are pages in Koi's notebooks which the eldest brother, Meng, refused to translate. Those are the pages reflecting the depth of the psychic wounds of the Cambodian people that will never be healed.